Hey boos, it's your girl Kris. Welcome or welcome back to the channel on social where it is totally cool to obsess with sewing. Now, February is Black History Month over in America, and even though I'm not American, I really do enjoy Black History Month because if it wasn't obvious, I'm a black girl and I'm full of black girl magic. Now, for the month of February, there were two ongoing sewing challenges in the sewing community. One was being hosted by Nateida of Sew Natural Dane, and it is the Black Handmade Pattern Designers Challenge, where you are encouraged to sew up a project using a pattern from a black designer. The second challenge was the Black Sewing Network Challenge, and I think the terms are basically the same. Sew up anything you like using a black pattern designer's pattern. Now, I decided I wanted to make not one, but two different items for these challenges. I recently shared here on the channel five, I think, pattern designers, black pattern designers that you should consider sewing up for Black History Month. And I'm happy to report that one of my makes was one of the patterns that I shared in that video. So I'll go ahead and leave the link to that video here so you can go ahead and check it out. And even though February is pretty much over, I would definitely encourage you to give these black pattern designers a chance. So the first pattern that I utilized was the Allison tent dress by Jasmine Desiree, aka So Much Jazz. Now, the Allison tent dress is a dress that I had made in a previous life. And yes, I say previous life because I made it really, really early on in my sewing journey. And I did like it, and I did think, I could probably make this one again. And this challenge was the perfect motivator for me to sew up this pattern. Now, I decided I wanted my tent dress in a white double gauze fabric. I had some sitting neatly in my stash, and I just thought that the loose, flowy nature of this pattern would mesh quite nicely with a double gauze. Now, in case you're unfamiliar, double gauze is a really, really loose weave fabric. Now, it does have the propensity to stretch, even though it's easily shrinkable using a washing machine and your dryer. And so, because of the nature of the fabric itself, it lends better, in my opinion, to more loose and flowy silhouettes than it does to fitted or structured garments. Now, I decided to make my Allison tent dress in a size medium, that is one size down from the suggested sizing based on my measurements. But again, because it's such a loose and flowy dress, I knew I could size down one easily and it would still fit me quite nicely. Now, I did also go ahead and make a couple of fit adjustments because it's me we're talking about. I did my 1/2 inch sloping shoulder adjustment. I removed a 1/4 inch in length above the bust but below the shoulder line right here. That just has the effect of rotating the bodice of my dress forward, given that your girl has forward rotated shoulders thanks to having a poor posture. I also did a 1/4 inch sway back adjustment. Now, other than those three fit adjustments, I also made some alterations to the pattern for aesthetic reasons. I went ahead and I shortened the dress portion of this pattern by 2 inches and then lengthened the tier of this pattern by 3 inches. Now, having completed or almost completed my dress, I'm thinking that I possibly can go back in and shorten the ruffle tier of my dress by 1 inch. So that means I probably didn't need to lengthen the ruffle tier at all. It might be just because I used a gauze fabric, and as I said, it is prone to stretching. Maybe that's the reason why my dress ended up still being quite long, and by long I mean almost at my knee. And maybe if I had used a more sturdy fabric, then there would have been the need for the length adjustment. I'm hoping that I'm making sense, you guys. I am going to show you guys the dress in just a minute, but I also made an additional adjustment to the sleeve portion of this pattern. Now, I shortened the actual sleeve by 1 inch, and the ruffle for the sleeve, what did I do to it? I think I might have folded it in half so that the sleeve ruffle is now half the size of the intended version. Now, overall, I do have mixed feelings about my dress, but let me show you guys the finished project first. Right, so this is my almost finished Allison tent dress, and I say almost because I haven't done the hemming yet on my dress. And I feel really, really bad that I'm here sharing this video with you guys before I have completely finished my project. But again, it's me we're talking about. I absolutely hate the finishing touches of sewing. Like the hemming part, the adding the buttonholes and buttons. These are things that take me forever for no apparent reason, you guys. I just feel like by the time I get to this portion of a project, I'm over it and I'm ready and rearing to get started on another project. Anyways, I do have my dress on the inside out. I did go ahead and do the pin tucks. I don't think you can see it very well. I don't think my camera and this lighting is picking up the details as nicely on my white fabric. Notwithstanding, I did the pin tucks at the shoulders as the pattern dictates. Obviously, I have my facing with my custom label on it. And you can see the length of my sleeve. So this is a seam line right here, and you can see the length of my ruffle. I much prefer the shorter ruffle than the longer ruffle. Now, if I turn my dress right side out, this is what she looks like from the right side. I don't think as well that the camera is going to pick up the texture of the double gauze nicely, but it is so nice and it is so soft. Now, when I tried on my dress, my hubby didn't love it, you guys. He doesn't seem to be into the oversized look. And previously, I wasn't much into the oversized look myself. I do much prefer a fitted silhouette to kind of accentuate the little bit of waist that your girl has. But this year, you have heard me say time and time again, I'm trying to embrace new silhouettes, new techniques, new patterns, new textures, new everything in my sewing journey. Now, I'm just going to slip her on over my clothes. Right, so this is what the dress looks like on. It has a really, really nice V in the front. And I use the same double gauze to do my facing. Because it is kind of see-through, you can actually see the facing through the double gauze. Now that doesn't bother me too much, but it's something that you might want to bear in mind if you want to go and sew up this dress in white double gauze. You are going to see your facing through your fabric. Now if I step back, can you see the finished length? It is just above my knee. And I really thought it was going to be a little bit shorter, given that I had shortened the bodice area of my dress. But as I said, maybe it's because my double gauze has stretched. I don't know. Now, in terms of the ruffle, I think I also doubled the width of my ruffle. Did I? What I did was I cut 4 pieces of my fabric on the fold for the ruffle. Instead of attaching this long pattern piece and trying to cut it out of my double gauze, I simply folded my fabric at the fold line and cut 4 pieces of fabric the width of the fabric that I had on hand. And this is the result. Now, I do think that maybe I could have gotten away with just one ruffle for the front and one ruffle for the back so that it didn't have this intense gathering right here at the ruffle layer. Now, I think if I was using a different fabric, it wouldn't have bothered me so much, but because double gauze, even though it's light and floaty, it still is, it's not thick. I don't know how to describe it. It holds on to the gathers so much, so they look a lot fuller than if I were using something like a rayon fabric. No, it means that my skirt is extra swishy. And I mean, why not? It's not something that is a deal breaker for me. It's just what I have observed. Now, when I'm wearing this dress, I'm probably going to put a belt around it just to accentuate my waist a little bit. I think I like that one a little bit better. But I'm pretty sure that I can get away with styling up this dress, maybe with some gladiator sandals, or maybe with a nice slingback heel, or a peep toe sandal, and that will up the ante of this dress. Maybe by the time I style it and take photographs, hubby would have his foot in his mouth and have a change of heart about this finished dress. But you guys, we shall see when the time comes. Obviously, at the time of recording, I haven't taken photographs because I haven't even finished the bloody dress. But hopefully, by the time you guys see this video, I would have one, finished off the sleeves and hem of this dress, and two, had an opportunity to take some style photos. Now, this was make number 1. I'm going to show you really quickly make number 2. Now, the second pattern that I decided to sew up for Black History Month is a pattern that was designed by Nateida. She goes by the Corny Rainbow, and she is one of the Know Me pattern designer licensees. And I think the pattern is Know Me 2063. I'm really hoping I'm telling you guys the right pattern number, but I'll go ahead and drop the envelope in right here. Now, I did like this shirt dress pattern, and I have had it in my stash for quite a while. But for some reason, I kept holding back on making up this pattern because I thought I'd have to make some fit adjustments, obviously, and the style lines of the pattern, I hadn't quite decided how I was going to tackle the fit adjustments and also whether I had the appropriate fabric in my stash and the amount of fabric that I would need to sew up this pattern. Now, for this pattern, I think I have the size 18 envelope, and I went and graded it down to a size 16 at the neckline, the arm side, and the shoulders, and then graded out, I think. Did I grade out or did I just do a 16? I think I graded the entire dress down to a 16. I really, really wish you guys that I had the smaller envelope, and if I did, I would have actually sewn up the size 14. I think the size 14 would have given me a better fit. Even though this one looks okay, it is also an oversized dress, and it just has so much fabric. Now, I had 3 meters of Minerva fabric to make up this dress. I am a Minerva ambassador, which means if you use my Minerva code, I'll pop it here on the screen, you can save yourself 10% off anything from Minerva. Patterns, fabrics, notions, kits, everything. Now, as part of the ambassador role, I get the option of hand selecting fabrics during a Minerva call out, and those fabrics are sent to me for free with the obligation for me to sew them up and then write a blog post for the Minerva website. I have almost finished this dress as well. Yes, you guys, almost finished this dress. I just need to go ahead and do the buttonholes and the buttons, but I'm having a hard time finding the appropriate buttons in my stash. If you have been here long enough, then you would have heard me appealing to you guys over and over again to please, please, please share your online button sources with me. I love shirt dresses and I love shirts, but finding buttons, ugh, not fun at all. And that is the reason why I have not yet completed this dress. Maybe I can find something that will work in my stash that would allow me to at least take photographs of this make finished. And then when I find some better buttons, I can probably go ahead and replace the ones that I have. Now I'm just going to put the dress on over me again. And this is what the finished dress, well, almost finished dress looks like. So imagine if she had her buttons down the center front. Oh, I really need like a whole sewing room that I can do a really, really nice camera setup and I can show you guys how I look like the full length of me because this space, the limitations, you guys, the limitations. But this is what the dress looks like from the front. And this is what she looks like from the back. Now, the back piece, you guys, is cut on the bias. So as I said earlier on, this dress takes lots of fabric because of the bias cut piece. Now, I do also have mixed emotions about this dress, and I'll probably end up slapping a belt around her as well. I'm trying to figure out, like, where am I actually going to wear a dress like this? It's too extravagant to wear to work. I don't think I'd wear this to church, and I don't go out very often. So maybe this is just going to be a pretty dress in my closet to look at, or on the very rare occasion that I have something really, really nice to do or somewhere really, really fancy to go, then I can consider wearing up this dress. Now, you guys, those are the 2 different patterns and the 2 different Black pattern designers that I decided to sew up for Black History Month. I did start a 3rd project, but it is a Mimi G pattern, and I wasn't sure whether Mimi G fits within the credentials of being a Black pattern designer. She is Latina, Hispanic, so in my mind, that is different to being Black. I hope I'm not wrong. I don't mean to offend anybody by trying to classify, but because the parameters specifically ask for Black pattern designers, I decided to err on the side of caution and go with Jazz from J Desiree Studio and Nefertiti, the Corny Rainbow. I am going to show you the third pattern that I am working on behind the scenes. Maybe sometime in the month of March, I'll get it finished up so that I can share it with you guys. It is turning out to be a slow project. I'm not going to spoil it for you just yet, so if you are not yet subscribed, now would be a great time to subscribe to the channel, turn your notification bell on so you never miss any of my upcoming videos. Now, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to go ahead and give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment down below, and let me know which of the two items that I shared with you here on the channel today you prefer. Do you like the white oversized floaty dress? Or do you like this one, which is an oversized button-down high-low dress? I'm really curious on your opinions on both of these makes, particularly since I have such mixed opinions about them myself. Now, in addition, please let me know whether you participated in any of these two challenges, whether you focused on any black pattern designers for the month of February, and drop them down below as well. I'm always eager to find out more black designers in the community. It is a rather small niche, I think, in the sewing community. And so if you have black designers in your back pocket, then please go ahead and share them. Now, that is all for today's video. So until next time, stay calm, stay cool, stay safe, and absolutely keep sewing. Peace.